So what now? What's your next step? Are you ready to enrol? Well, let me say that I reckon everyone would benefit from that just coming for a year. Anyone at all, no matter what stage of life, whether they're in retirement, they want a gap year, post-school sometime, they want to take a year out of uni, they want to stop at the end of uni, they want to take a year out from work, fantastic. Just do it. You want to go beyond that. You've heard there are different options for that. But they're going to require different thought processes and different preparations as you're coming in. And my job is just to give you, well, let's say that Don's top 10 tips for getting ready to come to Trinity Theological College. All right. Right, say you want to do the 1 year. Brilliant. Number 1, have you been praying? Spending time in God's Word, as Mal said, it's like could you turn that fire hydrant down to like 1 out of 10? God's Word is going to be shunted at you and it will challenge you. It's not the intellectual challenges part of it. There's things to learn because we think we know everything before we come, and college is kind of like finishing school, polishing it off, whereas actually we find out the gospel is just an unfathomable well of God's grace as we go further down into it. But our hearts need to be prepared. Because the things that need to change most, our minds and our reflection about God and the gospel, they need to be clarified, but our hearts need to be shaped around the gospel as well. So have you been praying? Number 2, how familiar are you with the Bible? Now, if you're coming into first year, you will read the whole Bible. And not just read it. Last week in Old Testament, David, it was... Joel and Haggai this week. Jonah, yeah, they're the easy ones.
We did the big ones earlier.
Yeah, did the big ones earlier. So how many weeks did you do Ezekiel in?
1 week.
1 week. Yeah. Although I believe there's a guy on my table who's preached Ezekiel last week, David, so he can skip that class, so that's good to know. How familiar are the Bible with you? If you're not really confident about it, not really sure, it's okay to take time out. In fact, this term for Trinity at night here, we've got Bible overview, like looking at the Bible as a whole. Fantastic unit to do, if that's you. Okay, come and do that. And I think that is being broadcast, isn't it? Or it's being recorded, so even if you're in Bunbury, not even if Bunbury's a long way away, not really, but even people in Bunbury can receive that without having to come up to the class each week. Okay, I digress. 3, third top tip. I should go 10, 9, 8. 8. How much time do you have? I was meeting today with a number of people, including a couple of lawyers, and one of them said, I'm interested in studying. So his EA, his executive assistant, was there, because this guy's pretty high up in the law firm. So I said, just excuse me for a minute, Frank, how much time does he have? I said to his EA. And she said, yeah, not enough. Be realistic. You won't enjoy it if you're squeezing the course into some corner of your week because, hey, you know what, I've got elders meeting Monday, Bible study Tuesday, Wednesday. I've got to play soccer with my non-Christian friends. Thursday, well, it's my girlfriend. And it's like Friday, and you kind of squeeze it all in. Oh, wait a minute, Tuesday's out now because I've actually got to come to college. You won't enjoy it. Create some space in your life. Don't think you have to do everything to do it. 6. Sixth tip, coming backwards. How do you feel about studying? Do you like sitting down, reading for periods of time? Because you're going to need to do that. If it's hard for you, that's okay. Because we've got stand-up desks. But seriously, we provide help. Okay? We provide help. We're not here to throw people in the deep end and watch them drown. My office in the building is right down the back and no one ever visits me. But I know that all the faculty get visited regularly to ask for help. That's normal. Okay? But it is helping you get ready to learn. I'll stop going backwards. I'll just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Before you sign up, talk to your pastor, because we're going to do that. So it's good to get ahead of the game. All right? 3-year course. That is more serious. It is more demanding. And the difference between the two is the 1-year course is going to equip you. The 3-year course is going to equip you to equip others. Right? That's the difference between the two. And there is a difference. I'm not just doing it for enjoyment now. I'm doing it in order to equip others with the gospel. And that's what leadership is. So if that's where you're heading, first thing I'd say, you've got to come full time. You won't enjoy it. In fact, you won't make it if you do a unit a semester. You won't finish the degree. So make some hard decisions, come full time. If you can't come full time for all of it, definitely come full time for the last 2 years. Okay? Because that's really where we dig right down into the gospel and uncover the riches, the gems that are hiding down under there. Number 7, are you married? Good idea to ask your husband or wife about studying full-time for 3 years. All right, check what they think out. Seriously, it's a joint decision. Because in the end, ministry is going to be both of you, not working necessarily, but you'll be a team. Okay? So good to have that discussion early up. We provide all kinds of things at Trinity for the family, but also for the wives of our students and also for our female students. There's a couple of things we do a couple of times a semester to make sure that they're being encouraged in the right way, and we're currently undergoing some scoping on how we can better serve our female students at the moment. 8, what do some other leaders, not just your pastor, what do the other leaders at your church think about you coming to college? Referees are important, but it's good to ask others and see what they think. So give me a realistic assessment. I did that when I started out. I had a really great idea and I thought, I'm going to go to college. I went to a pastor. He says, well, I wouldn't have sort of said it yet, but certain things have happened. But why don't you go and ask these 2 mature men in the church? So I did. So if you're a female, ask some mature women in your church. See what they think. That's a good idea. 9, getting some ministry experience is a good idea. Some people take a year out or 2 before they come to college. They do what's called an apprenticeship or an internship or something like that. That's not a prerequisite to come into college, but it does help shape your questions and your learning when you come into college. Okay? Because this, even though we operate, a degree and there's academic stuff going on, our primary goal is not academia. Our primary goal is to equip people for word ministry. So having some concepts and some experience in that's a good idea. And also I'd say when you come to college, make sure that you move from your home church before the first year's out. That you're looking beyond your home church, the church that sent you, so that you can start to experience what other Christians are like in other places, and so that your networks and sort of understanding can expand as well. I'll put that one out there, okay? It's a good idea. I did it, and the church I went to, I wouldn't be here if I hadn't gone to that church. I'll put it straight up like that. I had so much uncertainty about myself. But that church, fantastic. Last of all, money. God provides, but he wants us to be responsible. So we've got a saying around here. It's called being responsibly dependent upon God. Responsibly dependent upon God. Have a look at the finances. It's not saying you've got to have everything in place for including one day an overseas holiday at the end of every year to Europe for the skiing. No, not at all. But God provides, and thankfully the government also provides in different ways. But have a look at the financial situation, okay? And come and talk to us about it. You know, both of our registrars are accountants. It's fantastic. It's just great. So I've mentioned that twice this week, so I won't mention that again.